time, they say, is a charm.
Yep.
Vanessa, Brad, Vanessa,
There it is.
Yo-Yo, the three of us.
All right.
It works!
There we go.
All right, let's go to something we like to call schmoozing with Brad. How's that?
I like it.
All right, so poor people of Australia, poor people of the world, the poor animals of Australia. It's just the beginning of what is like a nightmare scenario when people would say, hey, there's going to be this global warming thing and it's going to cause us not to be able to live on this planet anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone would say, yep,
Sure.
right. And they all, many people believed it. A lot of people say it's a hoax. Okay? I remember when I was growing up in the 1980s, in high school, they were talking about global warming. I remember learning about it, and everyone's like, okay, that's great. Let's go get in our Hummer.
They were talking about that.
Yep, let's get in our Hummers now, because nobody really thought much of it.
Right.
It's just like a concept we talked about for 30 or 40 years, but nobody seemed to grasp it.
Yeah.
And now it is out of control. You see it now in Australia. Why in Australia? Australia is very, very south. It's the furthest south continent, and it gets very, very hot there. It's their summer right now. Our winter is Australia's summer. It's over 115 degrees in most of Australia right now. It has not rained in over a month, which is why all of these wildfires are. It rained a little bit on Monday, according to Jilly, but not really much. Nothing to really affect these wildfires. 25 people have been killed. 2,000 homes have been destroyed. But the saddest thing is that yesterday we were talking about 400 million animals dead. It is now 1 billion.
Oh my God.
1 billion animals are dead. 70 firefighters from Canada and U.S. are expected to arrive by Friday. It's an international coalition trying to fight these fires. We have also, besides the fires, besides the destruction, besides 1 billion animals gone, species that will never walk on this face of the earth. You've seen the saddest pictures of kangaroos and koala bears. But it doesn't matter that even animals that aren't cute, they don't deserve. Nobody deserves to get burned to death. And now what's even worse? Is that these fires are causing even worse weather. It's to use another weather term, a snowball effect, in the sense that they are creating what's called a firestorm. And what a firestorm is, it's like a fire tornado. The heat goes up into the atmosphere, and it heats up the atmosphere and turns into tornadoes, which even warms the earth more and pushes the fires in these crazy. You see these like fire tornadoes almost. It's like, as NASA describes it, a fire-breathing dragon of clouds. They are large, anvil-shaped, whirling clouds of smoke that form from smoke-related wildfires. Now, they're called firenadoes, and they cause a number of problems. For one, they can send smoke and other pollutants high into the atmosphere. They also start new fires. Last year, Australia saw an especially hot summer. And as a result, from last summer and this summer, we're getting what we're seeing right now. As I said, over 1 billion animals now they think have been killed. At least 800 million animals in just New South Wales. I've never been to Australia, but I guess that is a section.
The worst hit
section. It is so
breaks
sad.
My heart.
It just breaks my heart. Now, those figures that I am saying do not include bats, frogs, and insects. Okay.
Wow.
So it doesn't.
Does not include bats, frogs.
1 billion mammals.
It does not include bats, frogs, and insects.
So, so then it includes reptiles, then, right?
Includes reptiles.
Okay.
Now, according to the University of Sydney's animal loss estimates, over 100,000 livestock have been killed, and there are multiple species that have been wiped off the face of this earth that they do not believe you will ever see again, because they were endangered and only living in Australia. Now, harrowing footage of thousands of dead animals besides roads has appeared on social media as the National Defense Force is rushing to dig mass graves to avoid now what is going to be a health problem with 1 billion dead animals on the side of the road. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who campaigned in his last campaign saying climate change is not real.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane. And he's from Australia. That's sick.
He announced Monday that the federal government would commit over $2 billion over 2 years to a national bushfire recovery agency. That ain't going to do it, $2 billion. I mean, it's trillions and trillions of dollars. You got to stop polluting.
Yep.
Meanwhile, in I don't know if it is because of what's going on in Australia or it's just coincidence, but JetBlue has announced that they have become the first U.S. airline to become carbon-free.
Ooh.
So congratulations to JetBlue.
That's huge.
So, one of the biggest polluters, besides automobiles, coal plants,
Airplanes.
are planes.
I mean, it makes sense.
Okay, airplanes are one of the biggest polluters of our Earth's atmosphere. They cause a tremendous amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now, JetBlue can't say, well, we're not going to fly our planes. Got to fly our planes.
Right.
But what they are doing to become carbon neutral is that they are now offsetting every one of their planes. Every time one of their planes goes in the air and pollutes the atmosphere, they are offsetting all of their planes in the air by preparing a business. I'm going to read what it says. For the low carbon economy that aviation and all sectors must plan for. So what they're basically doing is that they're taking their profits and putting it into reforestation programs and other anti-pollution programs.
Nice.
So for every pound of carbon that they put in the atmosphere, these forests and other anti-pollution programs are taking that carbon out of the atmosphere somewhere else in the world.
Nice.
And that is being carbon neutral, which is really what we need the world to become. And if you think about what would help our economy more, would our economy be helped more by having these great innovations and companies that can do things to make companies like JetBlue carbon neutral, or is our economy going to do better by pulling more coal out of the earth, polluting, and sending firefighters to go fight fires?
No, definitely the first.
Right?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to employ more people over time?
Certainly, and it has to start somewhere.
Right.
I mean, this is huge that
No, this
JetBlue is doing this.
So
They'll set the example.
Yeah, so congratulations.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so congratulations to JetBlue. Now, they are not the first airline in the world to do this. They're the first American airline to do this.
Of course.
They are the second.
always someone a step ahead.
That's right. They are the second airline to do this. Great Britain's budget airline EasyJet announced in November that their planes were also.
Oh, so just recent.
So JetBlue is now the second one to do it.
Leave it to the UK.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's like the world is coming to an end in Puerto Rico. Poor Puerto Rico, because
Such
Puerto
a
Rico, they just had the hurricanes.
Yeah.
They're just recovering from the hurricanes.
Jeez.
I was just in Puerto Rico a few months ago. They're just almost fully recovered, at least in the main
I
areas.
went for my birthday last year.
It's certainly in San Juan. In the outskirts, they're still recovering.
Right.
Okay, but in the main, and now they're getting hit by earthquake after earthquake after earthquake.
Are these new?
These are all new earthquakes from the last couple of days. A 6.4 struck 5 miles southwest of Taloba on Puerto Rico's southwestern coast. And that was at 4:24 this morning.
Yeah.
It was the second consecutive day that an earthquake hit the island. And the governor of Puerto Rico said in 102 years, Puerto Rico has never experienced anything like this with earthquake after earthquake. It's been a week of earthquakes there and aftershocks. And about 1/3 of the island of Puerto Rico is without power at the moment. And the governor warned that a lot of people are living in homes that are not earthquake proof. They were not built to sustain, which I don't understand how that is, because Puerto Rico, all of the Caribbean is in an earthquake zone.
So they are.
Okay? The Caribbean is as prone to an earthquake as California. You always think California.
Yeah, that's all you think
so, in California, they built all the buildings, to withstand, a 10.0 earthquake.
That's why I was like, a 6.4, that's nothing in California.
Exactly, but I don't understand why they're not building that in the Caribbean. It doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe
we have a lot of Jamaicans.
Maybe the money.
We have a lot of Jamaicans.
It's expensive to build those type of buildings.
In the last 2 or 3 centuries, huge earthquakes hit Kingston and destroyed a lot of Kingston.
Right? But that's what I'm saying. It's the money. It's expensive to build those type of buildings.
Or Haiti. 200,000 people a decade ago lost their lives in Haiti from this.
A lot of cement in the Caribbean is so important to build. It can't be like here, like in New York or New Jersey, where things are literally like paper. Like, it has to be cement.
Yeah.
And now, tragically, yesterday also, there's a very famous rock formation on Punta Ventana, known as the Window Point.
Yeah.
And it's a big Instagram photo spot for people, and unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore.
Sheesh.
This is now what it looks like. It was destroyed by the earthquake.
That is insane.
And it's very sad. It was one of the biggest tourism draws to that part of Puerto Rico called
Look
Guayanilla.
how beautiful that was.
All that remains now is an iconic landmark. Is a lone tree on top of the
that was the picture I saw today.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
No, I hadn't seen that today.
Now there's some confusion what's going on with the U.S. military in Iraq. The U.S. sparked confusion because Iraq has the government of Iraq has asked the United States military to leave Iraq and take their troops out of Iraq. And there was a unsigned paper by the head of the military command in the Middle East who commands Iraq that got released that says the United States is going to leave. And then it was retracted. They said, no, it was a mistake. That letter was not supposed to be sent out. But we were just talking actually off the air. What a disaster. What a disaster this is. And it was a thoughtless bombing by President Trump, who had his nerves rattled by this general and says, I'm going to get you, like a little child.
Right.
Okay? And now think about it. Think about it, folks. Think about it. United States, I don't know what the number is. How much money have they spent with Iraq since the Persian Gulf invasion 15 years ago, or whatever it was? Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars have been spent by the U.S. taxpayer to go make Iraq into a democratic, decent country. Oust Saddam Hussein, find nuclear weapons that didn't exist, get rid of ISIS in Iraq, make sure that Iran doesn't take over Iraq, turn Iraq into a decent, democratic country with institutions that can sustain themselves. Trillions and trillions of dollars have been spent. How many people have lost their lives doing this? 50,000?
Yeah.
I don't know, 100,000? Certainly more.
Surely more.
Okay, or even, and Julie's saying 30 years?
Yeah.
And then to now ruin all of that.
Just with one.
All of that money spent. All of these wars. All of this death to try to make Iraq a better country. All for nothing. Because Donald Trump,
all of that.
Because Donald Trump's little baby in his White House says, "Oh, I don't like this guy. I'm just going to kill him." Crazy. It was like, and what's the plan now?
Now what?
What is the plan? Okay, you take out.
That's the plan.
Exactly.
I don't know.
You take out this general. What's the plan? You didn't expect this to happen?
Yeah.
You thought everybody was going to say, "Thank you, Donald"?
Right.
What's the plan? Now, I'm not here defending this general. He was a horrible man.
Right.
Yeah.
Killed a lot of people.
But
All right.
the thing
He
is,
funneled money. He funneled money to terrorists.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying this guy
he
was Mother Teresa.
Right.
At least from our perspective.
Certainly.
But you got to go the right way of doing it if you're gonna do it. Like you didn't even go through Congress to do it, right?
It's not even go through Congress. It's do something that's going to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
The world is not a better place because this general doesn't
Is that
exist
right?
on this earth anymore.
If anything, it's worse
Okay? The world is a worse place. When you go to war, if you're going to go assassinate somebody, you got to do it in a way. You got to do it in a way that is going to make people better, not worse. Now I'm going to tell you something else that falls from this. Okay, that nobody's even talking about, but Uncle Brad's going to talk about it.
Talk about it, Brad. We're here for it.
Okay, and that's quick. If you lived in North Korea right now, and you're Kim Jong Un,
North Korea.
okay,
Sure,
and that's
let's
quick.
place
Put your shoes into the shoes of Kim Jong Un. Okay, he has been listed as the axis of evil for 20 years, along with Iran and Iraq, and we took out of Iraq. Okay, so now there's only two axes left: Iran and North Korea as the axis of evil. That's who the U.S. has been fighting all these years.
Right.
Okay,
For peace.
correct.
Fighting for peace.
Now you're Kim Jong Un. You want to live, right? You want to be alive.
Right.
You're negotiating with the U.S. about nuclear weapons. You're building a nuclear weapon that can hit the United States of America. You have nuclear weapons right now, presumably that can hit Japan and North and South Korea. Why in the world would you give up your nuclear weapons? Because the day you give up your nuclear weapons is the day that Donald Trump or Pence or his predecessor, whoever it may be, or Bloomberg, or Buttigieg, or Warren, or Biden, or whoever becomes the president, can say, you know what? I'm a crazy mother effer.
Right.
I'm sitting here in the White House. I don't like the way Kim Jong-un talked to me today. Let's go kill him. Because that's what I would be thinking. This guy's going to kill me. The only thing that's separating me from not getting killed is if they try to kill me, we're going to nuke you.
Yeah.
Why would I ever give up my nuclear weapons now if I'm North Korea? Never.
No,
not if I want to live.
Yeah.
So he ruined two different things.
Yeah.
Not even one. Yes, Jilly.
Oh, Trump.
Breaking news, Jilly.
Oh, Trump.
What?
Okay.
Okay, then this is just in. 10 rockets have been launched from Iran into Iraq, into a U.S. Air Force base in Iraq against the U.S. military. We do not know how many people are dead. We don't know if those rockets were intercepted.
What?
But Iran at this moment is attacking the U.S. military in Iraq with 10 missiles that were launched from Iran.
Wow.
This is sick.
So this is sick what's going on right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now this comes right after.
Wow.
This comes right after. The funeral for the Iranian commander Soleimani, and at least 56 people were trampled to death in Iran today at his funeral because they were so incensed. So many people came out. And if you say, even now, I'll even say this. Let's say the U.S. sanctions were working against Iran and people were getting squeezed and getting angry at their government and saying, you know what, enough with this government. Go make a deal with the U.S. We don't want to be squeezed anymore. We want to live a nice, normal life. But you want to know what now? All those people who are a little moderate, who would say, okay, let's go make a deal with the U.S., they're not going to say a word right now because everybody in Iran is angry.
Yeah.
All right? They're all, it was similar. This would be similar to somebody attacking the United States and everybody rallying around the flag and let's go get them.
Right.
That's what this is in Iran right now, if you think about it from, as living here in the U.S. right now. And apparently on this card, the U.S. forces were on high alert, so hopefully they were able to, they have rocket interceptors.
Right.
I assume the U.S. command would know that their military bases would be attacked.
Right.
I would assume they would know that. I don't know what's going on right now because
I'm trying to read about it.
I am live right now.
This was just in. It's
Yeah.
just you take so many steps
So-
forward to only take so many back.
Yeah.
So with that, I'll tell you what. Why don't we answer some immigration questions?
Do it.
And I'll let you guys check what's going on in Iraq right now. We'll update
Yes.
everybody in a few minutes, okay?
Yes.
And before we do that, why don't you just tell everybody to share?
Alrighty.
Yeah, all right, everybody on Facebook right now, what I need you guys to do is share for sure first. I need you guys to share, but right after that, I need you guys all to start your watch parties. This is time to get the show out to everybody. As you can see, this is a very, very important time to help people. Any immigrant, anybody who has an issue or might know someone who has an issue about their status. So I need you guys to start your watch parties right now. And how you do it, you will see this graphic right here. All you have to do is click share. If the graphic doesn't come, it's all good. I'll just let you know though. Click share, and then a couple options down, it says start your watch party. It means you're hosting a watch party. You're taking this video from our page and putting it into your page, in your profile, and you are the host. So I need you guys to do that. Also, add people and bring them into that watch party. Tell them what the show is about. Tell them if they need any help. We are here to help them. And what are we gonna do on YouTube?
On YouTube Squad, first things first, let's make sure that we're subscribed. And once we subscribe, we are going to click that like button. So make sure that you like, you subscribe. You can also share on YouTube and start your own post sharing this live right now. So let's make sure again to subscribe, like, and share this post and let everyone know that the Brad Squad and Brad Show Live is on right now, and Brad is about to answer some great immigration questions
And
for everyone watching.
Right, and last but not least, everybody on Instagram that is watching right now, I need you all to send this video in a DM to any of your friends and family or followers, anybody that might follow you or you follow them. I need you to DM this show right now to them. Let them know what the show is about. And if they have any questions, join the live and ask right there.
And one last thing, now that we are sharing everything on social media, have you made sure to follow us on Instagram and commented on our last post? Remember,
Listen. Oh,
if
let
you're
me check
just
and
tuning
see.
in, we are doing a giveaway. Brad is giving away a consultation with him personally. And all you have to do is like, make sure that you are following us on Brad Show Live, and you have to tag 5 friends in our latest post.
Yeah, we have about, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that actually did that.
6 people want a free consultation
So far,
from me.
how much time are we going to give the Brad Squad?
They have until tomorrow's show.
Tomorrow's show.
Right, so
Excellent.
if you go to the Brad Show Live Instagram page at Brad Show Live, BRAD Show Live.
Yes.
Brad Show Live, and you like. You don't like.
They have to
saying
follow
like.
us?
Follow on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram,
They
and
can
then
like.
tag. You can like it too. You can like a post, but we're not telling you to like any posts. We're telling you to follow us on Brad Show Live on Instagram and tag 5 friends in Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch's video.
Yeah.
And you guys, there are 2 people that actually said pick me, free consultation, and another one said I really need it. I'm in a lot of
But they
trouble.
did- but-
You're not listening to what you have to do.
Correct.
You have to tag 5 people, 5 friends, 5 followers, anybody that you think especially might need any help as well. And then you will be in the drawing.
Because you want to know why? I can't give a free consultation to somebody who can't follow directions.
Right.
I'm telling you the truth.
Very true.
Because why would I give my free time to somebody who can't follow directions? Because I'm going to meet with them, I'm going to tell them what to do to fix their life,
Not gonna
and they're not going to follow my directions anyway.
Yeah.
So if you can't follow this direction, you're not going to follow a direction in a consultation.
Good point, Brad.
Right? I think that's an excellent point. All right.
All right, so now this is what you guys have all been waiting for. I know a lot of people are on the line waiting. This is where you get your answers to your immigration questions.
All right. Let's go to Gary in Lake Worth, Florida. Gary.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. What's going
I
on?
have I-751 pending, right?
Yes.
I got a divorce October 2019, right?
Yes.
I know I'm supposed to inform USCIS, but I haven't done that because I was waiting on some money to get a lawyer.
Uh-huh.
I want to next week. Is that okay?
You want to what?
travel next week.
You can travel next week. You have a pending I-751. It's perfectly okay. But you need to get a lawyer sooner than later.
Okay, I have a question. I consulted a lawyer. He told me to do over the I-751.
No. You write them a letter saying, I am now divorced. Here's my divorce decree. Please convert this to a waiver case. It's a 2-sentence letter.
So do I need assistance from you to do that?
Do you need assistance to write a 2-sentence letter? No. Do you need assistance to get your green card? Absolutely. Because you're not even sure what to do. So hold on. Yes, I think you need assistance. To write a 2-sentence letter, you don't. To get you your green card? Yes, absolutely. Hold on one second. Let's go to Sam in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sam.
Hello?
How are you?
Hello?
How are you? Sam.
Hello? Yes, sir. Yeah. Hello? Hello?
Sam.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, what's your question?
How are you, sir? And Happy New Year for you.
Thank you. Happy New Year. What can I do to help you?
I have just one question. I have a co-sponsor, and he's making like $100,000 per year, but he doesn't have a paycheck. He's like a kind of business owner. So, but he paid tax, kind
That's
of
fine.
every year.
That's fine.
Hello?
Sam, that's fine. He makes $100,000
okay.
a year. He files his tax returns. He shows he earns $100,000 a year. Nobody files a tax return and pays taxes on $100,000 if they didn't earn it. So it's fine. Just prove that he filed his taxes.
Okay, so, that's good to go,
Yes. Hold on.
Oh.
All right, because if I'm going to get one of these guys who, hello again. Remember yesterday?
Yes.
I'm not doing that. Jesse, Los Angeles.
Yes, hi, Brad. Me one more time bugging you. Sorry about that. You're our angel here in California. Yes, can you hear me?
I do.
Okay, maybe my volume is a little bit down. Yeah, so my family and I, we decided to, do the CATS relief for my sister's case. I last spoke to you. Let me ask you something. For CATS relief, she fears I'm going back to, our country, Mexico and Sinaloa. There's a lot of drug cartels over there. It's a dangerous place. And we also have death certificates of our relatives that they killed in 1995. I don't know if that's would hold like for a good case.
I don't know.
Or maybe I'm not understanding what CATS relief is. Yeah.
First of all, it's cat relief, not cats.
I'm sorry.
Convention Against Torture.
Yes.
And what you have to show is that you yourself, not that it's a dangerous country, because I don't think you're going to be able to show that Mexico is just a generally dangerous country. You wouldn't get it anyway. But there's still tourists that go to Mexico, and it's a big tourist mecca, and you don't have to go to the most dangerous part of Mexico to be resettled. What you have to show for Convention Against Torture is that the person who's getting deported, that specific individual, that person is being targeted for torture or death by the government or by somebody the government can't control. And basically that we would be sending that person back to Mexico to a death sentence or to a torture sentence. That's what you would need to be able to show.
Oh, wow, that would be, So if I have a death certificates of three brothers that got killed over there in 1995,
that means that somebody killed somebody else in Mexico. You have to show that person who's getting deported is in danger.
I get you.
I'll give you a perfect example. Your most perfect example for Convention Against Torture is the guy who turns state's evidence and puts away 10 drug dealers in jail in America, and then implicates more drug dealers in their home country, whether it's Mexico or wherever. And that drug dealer who was implicated in Mexico and his associates who were put in jail in America, basically get word to the guy who turns state's evidence, says, you're a dead man when you get home. Now that guy,
because he will be a call a rat.
And there's no way the government's going to protect him or her. that's the situation you use conventional. And I just made up. There's a lot of different things, but we see it that way.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, no, we just thought that maybe we turned those in, that she's scared that might happen to her, but she was only 10 years old when that happened.
She's in deportation right now?
She will be anytime soon. She got that 3-year sentence for conspiracy for a green card.
Okay, so
yeah.
So she needs to have a consultation with us.
Okay, so we'll call back the lady. Yes. She gave me the number for the consultation.
Wait, hold on.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yes.
All right, let's go to Carlos in Strasburg, Virginia. Carlos.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
How you doing?
Brad?
How you doing?
All right, I'm doing fine. I'm calling you back because I talked to you a couple of weeks ago, so I'm pretty much have a couple more questions.
Sure.
Because I did talk to you about a felony. And so if you have a felony, can you still get your citizenship?
You can get your citizenship if you don't have an aggravated felony. There are some felonies that are not aggravated felonies. There are others that are aggravated felonies. There are misdemeanors that could be aggravated felonies. So my question to you is, the obvious question, what's your felony?
It's mail fraud and wire fraud. It was a lottery scheme. Middleman.
Was the loss, the fraud in excess of $10,000?
Yes, sir.
Then you're an aggravated felon. You cannot become a citizen.
But I did get a waiver from the immigration.
Great.
Is that
so
something
you get to keep your green card for life. You're still barred from becoming a citizen.
No, because at the time I didn't get my green card. When I do my time and everything, I didn't have any green card at that time. After I finished my time, then
if you have an aggravated felony, and that conviction is after November 15th, 1990, no matter it happened before you got your green card, after you got your green card, if you got a waiver to get your green card, mazel tov, but you're not going to become a citizen. I lost him. With that, I lost him. Let's go to AJ in San Jose, California. AJ.
Hello.
Hi.
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 Hi. So I have a question about the U visa. I was attacked in a bus stop when I was on F1 visa in 2015.
Yes.
And I was transported to hospital in 911. But I tried to retrieve the police report, but they couldn't find. I mean, I don't know if it is not filed or if it is filed, but I couldn't retrieve the police report. Is there anything we can do now?
Yes, you need to contact the local police who investigated this or the district attorney's office. You have to show that you cooperated with law enforcement. So
I mean, actually, there's no police that contacted me.
Then if no police contacted you, then you never cooperated with law enforcement, then you're not going to get a U visa, despite the fact that you were the victim of a crime.
Or even if I have all the hospital records and everything else.
What the law requires is that you cooperated with the police in investigation. So when you were the victim of a crime, you didn't report it to anybody. The hospital didn't report it to anybody, and it went as a non-crime.
Well, police were on the situation. They were the ones who transported me, but
they didn't investigate anything. They I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay.
So
there's no way out of this for me.
No, you wouldn't qualify.
Okay.
I don't know why you were the victim of a crime. The police transported you to the hospital and did nothing about it. That makes no sense to me. But I wasn't there. It was 5 years ago.
Okay. I get you.
Figure out another way.
Thank you.
Hate to be tough on people. Sometimes you need to. Nesquik. You with me?
Still on it.
You still with me? Gonna get her some chocolate milk in that. We gotta get her some chocolate milk in that.
Every
day. You're gonna take over for that Buddy in the Nestle Quick commercial.
Maybe that's what you should be for Halloween this year.
Right. Thank you. A whole like 10 months ahead of time. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go to Melisha in Midland, Texas. Melisha.
Hi, Mr. Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Love listening to your show.
Thank you.
You have a lot of important information.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. I'm from Jamaica. I'm filing for my 13 and 11-year-old daughter. I start the process the 3rd of December of 2019. They responded to me last month that they need both of them birth paper and my birth paper. But I did not have my birth paper. I lost it somewhere. So I filed it at first when I was a green card holder.
Why do they need your birth certificate to file for your daughter? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they sent that they want my birth certificate.
Your daughter's filing for you, or you're filing for your daughter?
I'm filing for my girls, my two daughters.
You don't need your birth certificate. You just need proof that you're a resident or a citizen, and you need to have your name on your daughter's birth certificate.
Oh, well, I submitted whatever they want because I submitted the two birth papers to them.
They're asking for things that are irrelevant, or you're reading the request wrong. But what happened?
And I sent in my citizenship with both birth papers.
So
when I started the file,
get to the end. What happened?
I'm just asking you: is that normal for them to send for that? And how long after that you think the case would be approved?
It's not normal for them to ask for your birth certificate. There would be no reason for it. In order for the case to get approved, you have to prove you're a citizen and this person's your daughter.
Okay.
That's it. Your birth certificate neither proves citizen or it's your daughter. It just proves your birth, which is irrelevant to getting the petition approved. What you need to prove is you're a citizen and you're filing for your daughter. So you would submit your naturalization certificate and you would submit your daughter's birth certificate. And that should have been done in the beginning. You're lucky they asked you for it now. You submit it, and hopefully they'll make a decision within 120 to 150 days from when they receive your documentation.
So, thank you, sir. So I'm asking, so when I started it, I was a green card holder, so now I'm a citizenship. I'm a citizen, so I submit the citizen paperwork to them. You think it's going to move a little bit faster because I'm a citizen?
No, it's at the same time, if not a little slower, if anything. Believe it or not, the waiting time for U.S. citizens is longer filing for their children than it is permanent residents.
Okay, so you said within 120 days, 150 days, I should hear back from them? And the next hear back would be approved?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you,
and
sir. I appreciate you.
And thank you, and thank you for watching, and I appreciate all your kind words. If you don't hear anything in about 150 days or so, then give us a call because some things are wrong.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Alicia.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to Shelley in Providence, Rhode Island. Shelley.
Hi, Brad.
Hey,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Keep up the good work. I'm good. I have a quick question. So my husband did his citizenship on December 2nd. He passed everything, but they want more evidence.
Yes.
So we submit the evidence twice. The post office
What is the evidence
twice.
that they wanted?
He got locked up. He never get charged. They just want to show that it was a discharge.
Okay.
It was, So we send the evidence twice. The post office lost it twice, certified mail. So we're going to try tomorrow. They're going to receive, because we're going to do overnight. Is it okay if they receive it on Saturday or Thursday, or are they going to deny us for sending it that late? The deadline is Monday, 13th.
As long as it's received by Monday, you're fine.
Okay, now, one more question. And how long after you deny N400 can you refile?
The next day.
All right, thank you so very much.
You're welcome. All right,
bye.
Let's go back to Carlos. He was our felon who had the felony before he got his green card on the wire fraud, and he wants to become a citizen. Carlos, you there? Carlos? We're still missing Carlos. Let's try one more time. Carlos!
Yes, I'm here.
Question for you.
Sir.
When was your conviction?
It was back in 2015.
Yeah, you are not going to become a citizen ever, but you'll keep your green card.
My next question is, can I travel?
Yeah.
All the country?
Yes. As long as you have a waiver for that, yes.
Okay. Because I'm kind of curious about traveling out the country.
As long as you have the waiver for that conviction, you can travel.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Keep up
Best
the
of
good
luck.
work.
My pleasure. All right. So, in today's Spar and Bernstein Close-Up, attorney Jamila Luke tells us about one of the most common questions she gets from clients. Let's watch.
I have 3 tips for you in order to make your immigration case a bit easier for your immigration team. 1, do not forget to tell your immigration team about all of the relevant facts for your case. Each case is unique, like little snowflakes. So you want to make sure to tell them about all the relevant facts so that they can figure out the best avenue relevant for your case. The second tip I have for you is to make sure to go back and update your immigration team if anything has changed. Your marital status, if you moved, if you had children, if there's any financial changes in your life, medical changes in your life, or even criminal. If there's been any arrests, if any plea bargains, even if there's something as small as just a misdemeanor, make sure to contact your immigration team and update them on these changes because it may or may not pose some sort of an impact on you for your case. The third tip that I have for you is regarding your interview with USCIS. If your immigration team offers a thorough interview prep like we do here at Spar Bernstein, take full advantage of it. Be fully prepared. Review all of the necessary information on your application, bring all of your required documents in, have all of your questions ready that you might want to ask for your attorney, and use that as your mock interview. Take it as seriously as you can so that when you walk into your interview on the day of at USCIS, you can be as calm and collected as possible.
Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. All right, let's go to Jackie in Newton, New Jersey. Jackie. Jackie.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
What's going on?
A question for you. I have this friend, she went for her interview, but 2 weeks later she stayed on her phone. Interview has been completed, but must be reviewed, and she will get her notice in the mail. Is that a problem?
What was the interview?
Pardon me?
What kind of interview?
Green card.
It's not a problem unless there's a problem. I mean, right now there's no problem. They're reviewing your case or reviewing her case. Okay. If 120 days comes and goes and no response, then you got a problem.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, but she get a response 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, you're asking me. I don't know anything about her case. She went on an interview. Mm-hmm. I don't know mm-hmm. one thing that was said on that interview. The only thing I know is she gets a letter back that says, "We're reviewing your case, and you want to know if that's a problem." I said, "No, unless they review it and they ultimately say there's a problem." And I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with the case. I don't have the slightest idea.
Okay.
All right.
So that wouldn't be a problem then.
I said I don't know anything about her case. I have no idea. If there's no problem, there's no problem. If there's a problem, then we got to deal with it. But they're reviewing her case. I don't know anything about it. I can't say anymore. I have no idea. Are you asking me? Right. If you're asking me, is that usual that they would write a letter saying they're reviewing the case? Yeah, it's usual.
Yes,
they review cases all the time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Don't be
nervous.
All
right. Thanks.
All right. Let's go to Sunny in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Sunny. Sunny.
Good. Yep.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Brad?
Good. What's going on?
Okay. My question is, so my husband recently got a job in California, 2 months ago, and before that, we had to send the RFE to USCIS, which we did in December, and he just moved to California in November to start a new job, and so we were hoping that I was supposed to join him after he found an apartment and everything, but the address that we used to file for everything was here in Pennsylvania. But now we already got our interview letter in for this month, end of this month. So I was just wondering if we should go for this interview or we should wait until we both in the same physical address, because I'm supposed to move to California anyway.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a problem when you're not at the same physical address. You're gonna have a big problem.
Okay.
But you can't stop it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to need to have a consultation. We'll figure it out. Maybe you want to move out to California and transfer the case out there. That's what I think I would be doing. But hold on one second.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's go to Abigail in Riverside, New Jersey. Abigail.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Happy New Year, Brad.
Happy New Year.
So I have a question about... I filed a VAWA case on March 2018.
Yes.
And recently they asked me for more evidence on October, and I the evidence they asked me is about me living with my husband on the address, but that address we never use it because we went a home at the time, and then we used his family address. So I did a letter, and I have a friend that helped me to do a letter to say that I used to live there, but it was a home. So I don't know if that is a problem.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why would you have your friend write a letter, you would submit it, and then after the facts wonder, I wonder if that's a problem? You gotta think about whether it's a problem or not before you start submitting documents to immigration. That's number one. I'm not blaming you, but I get these questions all the time. I just went and just did random crap because my friend told me to do it, and now that I've submitted stuff to immigration, I'm calling Brad and I wonder, is this a problem? Why don't you figure this out before we submit anything? The answer is nothing's a problem as long as it's a bona fide marriage and you live together in the same household. So nothing is it's only a problem when you're not living together. That's my answer.
Yes, but we do have a kid together.
But if you can have 100 kids together. If you don't live together, it's not a bona fide marriage. So it's
yes,
a problem.
we did live together.
Do you live together at this moment?
Yes, at this moment, yes.
Okay, so then that's
but
all
at
that,
this
that's all that
address,
matters.
it was a woman.
Okay, that's all that matters. And if I don't know what you put in this letter, okay, just like the other lady says, immigration writes me a letter and they're reviewing my case. Is that a problem? No, it's not a problem until you have a problem. I don't know what you put in this letter. I have no idea what you wrote in this letter. All I can tell you is that if you live with your spouse and you have a financial relationship with him and you have children with him, it's a bona fide marriage. I hope you proved it. I don't know if you did or not. I don't know what was even put in this letter. Hold on. Isn't that odd? I mean, is it me? Or like people just randomly start mailing stuff to immigration and then call us after and said, is this a problem that I did this?
It's honestly real backwards to me.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, resources, sir.
Yes.
Use your resources.
Right. Uncomfortable. That was all uncomfortable silence for a second.
Like a sigh.
As we thought about all of that.
This is bad.
We're just hoping not to see these things in 2020.
Yes. Yeah. Nor in Charlottesville, Virginia. Nor. In
Hello.
Charlottesville, Virginia. Yes.
Hey, how are you, Brian?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, I have a question about my wife's visa. She had her visa interview in December 2019, just like almost a month ago, at U.S. Embassy in Kabul. During her, actually, I would say luckily, after 30 months, she was scheduled for her visa interview. So, during her visa interview, she received a 221G, kind of like a yellow.
Yeah, why did they deny her?
Yes, they told her we need your wedding photos. Actually, she had like 9 or 10 photos, me and her together.
So they don't believe it's a bona fide marriage. That's if they denied her and said, we're denying you because you didn't submit wedding photos. In essence, what they're saying is, we don't believe this is a bona fide marriage for love.
And then what happened then,
by the way, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that's what they're saying.
Yeah, but then I sent them like around 30 photos with my parents all together. So there are like a lot of other family members in that. So they responded back and they said your case is under review right now. I'm not sure, but it's showing administrative processing right now. So I actually also went to Afghanistan. I was in Kabul in November, and then I came back on November 22.
How long has it been since you submitted these documents?
I submitted my other document that was like a week and a half ago.
All right, so you got to wait 120 days from a week and a half ago. And then if you have no response, then give us a call.
120 days?
Yes.
And how about, do I need to, they only ask her for her wedding photos. So I was wondering, like, how about if I send the affidavit of support from?
Don't send anything unless they ask for it.
Okay, and will a congressman or senator will be a good option?
No.
Talk
Wait
with?
out 120 days. The good option is wait 120 days. You don't hear anything, give us a call. That's your option, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, let's go to Charles in the United Kingdom. Charles.
Good evening, Brad. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. Brad, I have a first-time caller anyway.
Yes.
Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I have a question. My question is, I'm married to a U.S. citizen, and we've been married for 23 years now.
Yes.
Well, I used to live in the U.S., and I committed an offense, and I was deported back to U.K. because I was born here anyway.
Uh-huh.
And recently, we've been thinking about relocating back to the U.S. Am I able to come back to the U.S. to get a green card as well?
What was the offense?
Forgery.
Forgery?
Yes.
Forgery for what?
Credit card.
How long ago was this conviction?
1996, 97, I think.
Okay. And when did you get deported?
That same year, 97.
Well, you wouldn't be able to return to the U.S. just to visit, but your wife can certainly file a visa petition for you. And if it's more than 15 years since the conviction and more than 10 years since the deportation, you would be eligible for waivers, and hopefully they would get approved, and you would get your green card.
Okay.
All right, but it's a process. It's not like I just get on a plane, I'm going to apply for a green card. Your wife applies for you while you wait in England, you do waivers, and then eventually you come back. So hold on one second.
Okay.
We'll see if we can help you.
Thank you.
All right. Yesterday, that's quick, you weren't here, so let me fill you in. Yesterday, Spar Bernstein's personal injury attorney, Moshe, the bulldozer, Baruch. Do you want me to discuss what to do if you're involved in a car accident? Today we're discussing what to do if you're a pedestrian or a bicyclist who is hit by a vehicle in New York. Let's watch. According to statistics, car accidents cause over 40,000 fatalities and on average 2 million serious or permanent injuries every year in the United States. Unfortunately, it has been reported that these numbers continue to rise despite improvements in automobile safety features. Perhaps the reason is the number of drivers on the road. In 2019, there were more than 227 million licensed drivers in the United States, according to Carsurance.net. Statista.com reported that in 2017, New York was the state with the fourth highest amount of licensed drivers, coming in at over 12 million drivers. Serious vehicular accidents are terrifying and catastrophic to be involved in on many different levels, physically, emotionally, and financially. Having a good attorney to pursue compensation for you after a car accident is important because the process can be incredibly difficult even when all involved parties are insured. With me today to explain what to do if you or a loved one are involved in a serious automobile accident in New York is Spar Bernstein partner and personal injury attorney, Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch. Moshe, how are you?
Good, how are you, bud?
So we're talking car accidents today. We previously talked on a different segment about what to do if you're in a car accident, but we didn't talk about what do you do if you're a pedestrian on the street. In New York, Mayor de Blasio, one of his signature campaigns is to reduce the number of fatalities in the state of New York by cars hitting pedestrians, or at least certainly in the city of New York. As a matter of fact, I even read today, and we're only in early January, there are already pedestrians who have been knocked down and killed walking the streets of New York City by out-of-control vehicles. So what do? God forbid, you're on a street, you're in a crosswalk, you're on a sidewalk, and you get hit by a car. What do you do in these situations?
If you're a pedestrian and a motor vehicle strikes you, the first thing you should do is call the police. If you can't call the police, ask somebody to call the police. Get an ambulance at the scene of the accident immediately. Try not to move from your original position because that matters. You want to take pictures of the person who struck you, take a picture of his license plate because, Brad, you of all people know, people flee the scene of the accident because they're terrified of whether they're under the influence of alcohol, if they're uninsured. So get pictures as soon as you can.
All right, now let me ask you a question. you have pictures or you have an ambulance come, is there any difference in the laws if you get hit by a car as a pedestrian versus as a driver? What do you got to be looking, obviously looking out for a car coming to hit you, but what do you now that you've already been struck, what should you be doing once the police and ambulances are on the way?
So the difference between getting struck by a vehicle while you're pedestrian as opposed to being inside of a vehicle is whatever vehicle that you're inside of, if you're struck, that insurance company will pay for your no-fault benefits, as opposed to if you're struck as a pedestrian by a motor vehicle, that motor vehicle that struck you will pay for your no-fault benefits.
Okay, now talking about no-fault benefits, let's talk about what are no-fault benefits, what do you get, how do you get it, and is there a time frame in which you need to do it?
So the New York State has a no-fault insurance policy in effect, which states that regardless of whose fault an accident is, that insurance company will pay for your medical expenses that are reasonably necessary for your treatment, and they'll pay for your out-of-pocket expenses up to $25 per day, and they will pay for your lost wages, $2,000 per month, up to 3 years.
So why is it important to get a lawyer involved so quickly?
All right. So if you don't file for no-fault benefits within 30 days of the accident, Brad, your medical expenses become zero and you don't get any.
So you have a 30-day statute of limitations?
That's precisely what I would say. Yeah.
Yes.
The statute of limitations, there are some exceptions, obviously, if, for example,
you're in a coma.
Correct. Or if you don't have the police report, because one of the requirements with your NF2, the no-fault application, is you must have a police report.
And this is in New York State. But really, for all intents and purposes, you got 30 days to get this no-fault application in.
The safe bet would be to file your no-fault benefits within 30 days. Don't take any risks.
Right. If I file no-fault benefits, we talked about this before, how does that affect me? Does it cost me money? Do I get charged somewhere down the line? Why am I going to want to file no-fault benefits? Maybe I'm better off financially not doing it.
Here's the beautiful part. If you file the no-fault benefits, your medical expenses will be paid for. The x-ray, the emergency room visit, any physical therapy that you may require, any surgery that you may require will be paid for. If you don't file for no-fault benefits, the insurance company has every legal right to say, thank you, but no thank you. You did not file on time. You are responsible for your medical expenses all by yourself.
Now we see on a daily basis, besides pedestrians getting hit by vehicles, we see bicyclists getting hit by vehicles every day. It's a big problem here in New York City. Just last year, 29 people died as a result of getting struck by a car while on a bicycle. Is somebody who's on a bicycle, are they considered in the same position as a pedestrian? Could they ever be at fault for an accident? What's the difference between being on a bicycle versus being on your feet?
Well, remember, Brad, the facts do matter. Pedestrians as well as bicyclists can be found to be liable for a share of responsibility of how the accident occurred. But in terms of the law, it operates the exact same way. If a bicyclist is struck by a motor vehicle, that motor vehicle will qualify them for no-fault benefits.
Now, you've handled many cases where there was pedestrians and bicyclists hit by an automobile. Can you tell us about one of your great success stories?
So a few years ago, we had a pedestrian who was crossing at a marked crosswalk, the green light in her favor, when...
And by the way, I know this case that you're going to talk about. Just as a little background, this was a pedestrian, was a woman from Jamaica who just immigrated to the United States. She had a green card for about a year when this happened. And she was our client. She had her green card. And this is what happened. Now continue, Moshe.
So the green light is in her favor. She's crossing the street when a private ambulance, a commercial ambulance, strikes her while she's crossing the street. Now, mind you, both of them had the green light. She had the green light when she was crossing the street. The ambulance had the right green light to make the turn. However, the law requires the vehicle to yield to a pedestrian. That is the law. And this motor vehicle did not do that. Striked her at the intersection, caused serious injuries, and we recovered for her, Brad, almost $4.2 million.
$4.2 million for our client. We settled her case after she got struck by this ambulance. She was obviously seriously injured. We were able to obtain a life-changing numbers for her, $4.2 million settlement for getting struck by an ambulance in a crosswalk in New York City. And this was a lady, she was a middle-aged lady from Jamaica, just came to America with a green card for a year. Obviously, she has some very serious injuries. We don't wish that on anybody, but you were able to compensate her fully, and that is an amazing job, Moshe. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Brad.
And obviously, prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome, but I will tell you this. If you ever are in an automobile accident, you only have one opportunity to get the largest amount of money that you can for your case. Not every lawyer is the same. Not every lawyer is going to get you the same amount of money. You have one opportunity to get the biggest pie of money that you can. You don't have an opportunity to go back a second time. If you think that Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch and our entire team here at Spar Bernstein is your team to help, then the best thing to do is put our telephone number in your phone right now. It's 1-800-529-5465. Please be safe. We don't want anybody to ever be injured, but God forbid you are. You do only have one opportunity to get the greatest amount of money you can, and I would suggest that you call Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch right here at Spar and Bernstein. Obviously, $4.2 million is an amazing settlement for that woman. Congratulations again, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Brad.
Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. All right, we're going to do something we like to call social media check-in. What do we got? Yonathan and Nesquik.
All right, our first five, like we say all the time. First five. Right. Our first five questions that we are going to ask are from the actual VIP page, the Brad's Show Live fan page. So you guys have to make sure that you guys join that in order to get this incentive.
On Facebook?
Yes, on Facebook. All right, so Jesse's saying, do I have to wait for a USCIS notice to remove my condition, or do I have to file it without their notice?
No, just file without their notice. It has to be done within 90 days of the expiration of your green card.
All right, Joel Kapinga asks, I am a green card holder for 5 years now, and I have a child who is a U.S. citizen. I filed a petition for my husband, but I'm using some benefit like daycare support, food stamp. Will this public charge rule have an impact on my petition?
If it's for your child, no. If it's for you, yes.
Christian saying, I applied for SIJS, so SIJ. When I was 20 years old, and thank God I got my PD one day before I turned 21. I recently got my EAD, but I'm still waiting for my interview. Is there a higher risk I get a denial since I just turned 22? I live in Massachusetts.
Yes, there is absolutely a higher risk. They make it much harder if you're over 18, actually.
Oh.
But if everything was done right, hopefully you'll get your green card.
Alrighty, this is a little bit of a long one, Brad, but let's get to it. Sheila O254 asks, hi, Brad. I've been calling for a while and it's hard to get to you, so here's her question. My husband got a job in California and we live in PA. He moved there for the job in November of last year and since has been living there with friends. I was hoping to join him. I have no work permits, so I have no way of helping. That's why I have stayed behind. And California is really expensive.
We talked about this. They called on the phone.
Oh, so she did get through.
Yes, and I said...
So we answered this.
Right, we answered, and I had said to her, don't go on the interview in Pennsylvania. They're separated, so she's got to move out to California and
move
change
the case there.
Right.
Okay, I thought this was familiar.
Yeah.
All right, good morning. Happy New Year. I just checked the NVC website to see what's going on since I got the letter with the login information. I see where the payments are awaited to be paid, so the other documents can start uploading for NVC to start renewing my case or reviewing my case. When do we proceed, or are we waiting on the waiver first?
The waiver, if you're doing a provisional waiver, you got to do the provisional waiver first.
Okay, so they said that my husband Patrick is filing for me. The I-130 has been approved from about October. NVC wrote them saying I bring in the void check to NVC, could take the 2 payments from the account. I viewed my case on NVC website and they're still waiting the payment. So I finished paying.
Was this a novel?
Yeah, basically, I finished paying the waiver, only have $250 to leave on it. So is that...
Just do the waiver first and then deal with it after.
Okay.
They're taking advantage of our time.
Yes.
They got to get through. They got to get it all in there. All righty.
Chapter 3.
That definitely wouldn't be on speed round. I'll tell you
No,
that.
that wouldn't make it. Official J. Moses asked, USCIS kept my case after the interview for security check, and it has been 16 months now.
I think it's called mandamus.
Curly Girl Shauna saying, I received my second prima facie today for 60 days. Does this mean that I may get an answer soon within the time frame?
Yes.
Okay.
Desi Boy asks, if your spouse is in the Army and because of that you don't live together, is that a problem? My wife is in Colorado and I live in Jersey as my job is here and her work zone is in Colorado.
It's a problem if you're both in the United States and not living together. If they're, he's
in a different country
and he's in Iraq or something, then obviously you're not going to a war.
O'Shea saying, how soon after you divorce you can get remarried?
The next day.
Sophia asks, any update on the DOS public charge?
No. It's the same as it was 2 months ago.
All right. Almighty Dean saying filed for my wife November 5th, did biometrics December 13th. How long will it take for her to get her EAD this year, 2020?
6 months or less.
Nadia Keen asked, just filed for my mom and she did her biometrics. What's her next step?
Wait for an interview for a green card.
Mufli saying my online status says ready till today after I had my interview on December 23rd, 2019. So what's this mean?
It means they're ready to schedule you for an interview, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. It could happen in a year from now. They're just ready to do it. When they feel like it, they'll do it. But they're ready.
All right.
All right. Harold Premier asked, hello, Brad. I am married to a U.S. citizen. She filed for me since 2017. I've been to the interview for the I-485 since March 2018, and the USCIS called me for a second interview on December 3rd, 2018.
Yes. And how'd that go?
And that is for...
Well, either you passed your interview. I don't know what happened on the interview in December 2018. If you did well, you should get the pass. And if you didn't do well, then you're probably waiting on a denial. But it's been over a year now, so I think you should have a consultation with us.
All right, Shakira saying, can you file for a Jamaican spouse if they had a drug smuggling charge 10 years ago? They did the time and the case has been closed. They attempted to bring drugs into Trinidad.
You cannot file for a Jamaican spouse who has a drug conviction. You cannot sponsor a Dominican spouse with a drug conviction, or a Trinidadian spouse with a drug conviction, or a spouse from any country in the world
with a drug conviction.
So it doesn't matter that he's Jamaican
Even if the case is closed.
Even if the case is
closed. And doesn't matter if they did it out of this country.
Doesn't matter if they did it out of this country or in the country.
All right.
Alrighty then. Elias Francis says, how long does it take for the USCIS how long does it take for a U.S. citizen mom who's sponsoring a naturalized married Canadian son? How long for the I-130 to get approved?
How old is the son?
Thank you so much for the important question. No age.
The son is sponsoring the mom?
The son is sponsoring the mom,
It
yes.
should take 12 months or less.
Or no, the mom is sponsoring a married Canadian son.
Oh, you're going to wait 15 years. Don't sell the house in Canada.
All right. A. Jones saying, I applied for AOS November 30th, 2018, was asked for a RFE in August 2018. Submitted it. My profile now says ready for an interview to be scheduled. What is more or less the waiting period since my PD was November 2018?
Your priority date is the date in which your application was completed, and then wait sometime between 6 months to 3 years from that date.
Okay, last one. Niak Eonum asks, I am so confused with what's the difference between priority date and approval letter. My priority date is July 5th of 2012. Then my approval letter is saying September 2014. I'm unmarried, a U.S. citizen over 21.
Your place on the waiting list is based on your priority date. That's the controlling date. The priority date is the date in which immigration accepts your application. So when your mom filed for you in 2012 and it was received in whatever that date was in 2012, that's your priority date. Your case got approved in 2014, but that's irrelevant if it got approved in 2014, 15, or 16. It's based on your priority date, which is 2012, and you should be eligible for a green card soon based on that.
All right.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. So, Yvette Modestin had been named one of the 30 most influential Afro-Latinas of the world. She's the founder, executive director of Encuentro Diaspora Afro in Boston, Massachusetts, and profiled by the Boston Globe as the uniter for her work in bringing the Latin American and African American community together. She joined me to discuss how her immigration from Panama to America influenced her career and life. Let's watch. When Yvette Modestin moved from her home country of Panama to Boston, Massachusetts in the 1990s, she felt very isolated and alone as she realized that Americans were very unfamiliar with the Afro-Panamanian community. Yvette is an artist. She's a licensed mental health clinician, a wellness facilitator, a community organizer and educator, and she turned her own feelings of otherness around by creating Encuentro Diaspora Afro, I hope I pronounced that properly, an organization that provides a safe space for everyone and educates people on the history of African descent around the world. So today we're going to be joined by Yvette Modestin. Yvette, thank you very much for joining me here on the Brad Show Live. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you? Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you. I understand this is the first interview you're doing with your new locks. Is that right? That's what you sold
New
us?
locks.
Yes.
11 months in.
What was it before? What'd you have before?
The fro.
Oh, you had the big afro, yeah?
And everything.
Okay. So what made you change?
You know, this journey takes you into a deeper self.
Right.
And your deeper self is also how you define beauty and how hair is defined. And for me, the natural hair was one thing and the fro was really important, but the fro was also still carrying these very sort of standards of beauty that it had to be big and it had to be shaped and it had to be this and it had to be that. And I just woke up 11 months ago and said, I'm ready to do lots because I felt like I wanted to really go deeper into my natural self.
Right. That's really cool. Tell me about growing up in Panama. What was that like?
So Colón is the second largest province of Panama, and it's really centralized, one of the largest Black communities. In the construction of the canal, when the Americans took over, the territory that surrounded the canal was called the Canal Zone.
Right.
And it had imposed American laws, which meant imposed Jim Crow laws.
Ah.
So I grew up in Jim Crow laws where my Black Caribbean community, although in this American territory, was segregated from the white community. So I grew up in this American territory that had its own police, its own hospitals, its own fire department, or its own schools. But within that, the Black community was separated from the white community. When you keep in mind desegregation here, Brown versus the Board of Education, late 50s, they didn't desegregate the schools in Panama till late 70s.
Really?
Yes.
That's shocking. That is absolutely shocking. So now, what was segregation like? Was it like it was in the United States? Was it worse?
I didn't see white people until I went to work with my parents. We didn't see them because we also had our own commissary. We also had our own school. We also had the police in our own neighborhood. So we didn't integrate with them.
So it was real separation. You didn't even live in the same it wasn't even like you're living in the same town and have two different grocery stores and two different schools. You were in two different towns and like you almost like fenced off in a way, I guess.
Yes, and the community, when they desegregated the community, and my family was one of the first communities to move into Margarita, is when I realized that Margarita was only like 5 minutes away from Rainbow City, and we never knew.
You didn't even know it existed.
There were folks that really accepted us, and then there were folks that were not happy that we were moving in.
So now you made it from Panama to the United States when?
In early 90s.
In early 90s. And did you come with your family? Did you come alone? Why did you come?
No. I only came with the intent to study. I came here for college.
You yourself have a lot of different backgrounds. You're Panamanian, you're Latino, you're African, you're Caribbean Afrocentric. I mean, there's a lot. You were educated in an American school and in a mixed racial school. So when you came here, how did all of these different groups treat you? Where did you fit in?
I didn't.
You didn't fit in?
I didn't. They didn't know what to do with me. My experience in the Latino community was I'm not Latina because I'm Black. And then in the African American community, I wasn't Black enough because I spoke Spanish. So all of my identities that I honored and owned were put into question because here in the U.S., you either have to fit into the white pocket or the Black pocket, and Latinos are identified as brown but align themselves more towards whiteness than they do Blackness, unless they walk around where you're visibly Black.
Right.
And we have no choice.
Right, I understand. So how did that make you feel?
For me, it was the first time feeling absolutely invisible. I grew up where I was very visible, very loved, very cared for, very embraced, and then to come at the age where you're still sort of developing, but you or someone almost in your identity, it created a level of depression, a level of confusion, standards of beauty here. I was a tennis player in college, and you had to look a certain way as an athlete. Your hair had to be, it was just everything that I knew that my parents raised me to say, this is you, proud of it, was put into question.
So how did you get yourself out of this? What did you do?
Started really challenging the spaces. Started reading, Malcolm X, Assata Shakur, MLK, going really deeper into Pan-Africanism, history, and honoring, you know what? This is who I am, and I'm not going to let anybody take that away from me. And I'm going to put you in the position to see me by me saying I'm a Black Latina.
This is my identity. This is me. This is my identity. I don't have to fit into anything. I don't have to fit into your group or this group or that group. This is me, and accept me for who I am. And I guess that's self-empowering in a way.
Oh yes, it totally took me to a whole nother level, and it then put me in the positions to look at Latinos, however shade they are, to say, you know what, you're still of African descent, and to look at African Americans and say, you know what, we have a common experience. We were dropped off everywhere. Some of us were dropped off where English was the first language and where Spanish was the first language, but we were dropped off everywhere.
You were dropped off all of North America, the Caribbean, parts of South America.
Absolutely. And one of the things that my mentor, Mr. Claral Richards, who's the man behind Black History Day in Panama, always said was that when our ancestors were put on that ship, they weren't put in family components. And when they took us off those ships, they didn't take us off in family components. So if you understand that concept, your love for all people of African descent should be constant, because you could be standing before someone that is your family.
You're 100% right. So now you started this organization. It's Encuentro Diaspora Afro. Tell us what this organization is.
I wanted to create a space for people like myself to come and talk about the complexity of this identity that's rooted in an African identity but plays itself out differently in different spaces. And that we could talk about it. We could talk about colorism within our community. We can talk about the internal racism within our community. Black Latinos, Afro-Latinos, Afro-Panamanians, we are the bridge between this sort of idea that the African-American community and the Latino community are so far apart. And then we come in and we bridge that together. And that's what Encuentro Diaspora Afro does.
Do you touch on immigration at all in your workshops? How that's affecting people's self-esteem? You want to talk a little bit about that, please?
I mean, as an immigrant myself, it's a must, because immigrants are seen as the lesser than, and there's this idea from African Americans and or those born here that immigrants come here with the intent of taking something away from here. What folks need to also understand is that many immigrants come here because of the U.S. influence in most of our countries and the impact that it has. And it's almost a forced migration.
Good point. That's a really good point.
But the immigrant conflict is internal, because this country has different relationships with different countries that they highlight and they don't. So if you're from a country that's in conflict with the U.S., you tend to feel lesser than in a different way than if you're from a country that has a good relationship with the U.S.
If, we had to ask you what your American dream would be, what would it be?
As I sit here today and thinking of some of the things that we touched on, my American dream would be that people that look like me, people of African descent, African Americans, Black people, people of color, be seen in their human light, and not from this animalistic, aggressive place that we are being seen. Right now, we're living in times where walking Black is hazardous to your health. You have people just calling police on you walking while Black.
That's right.
Sitting while Black. So my American dream would be that this country really face the historical pain the historical damage that they have done to people of African descent and repair it.
How do you repair it?
You start talking about it, you acknowledge it, you name it. Apologies have been given to many communities of color because of this country's treatment towards them. Nowhere in the world have people of African descent been on the receiving end of what was a humanitarian raping of our people, a humanitarian violence towards our people, and that has not been fully acknowledged around the world.
All right, Yvette Modestin, wonderful. I wish you all the best. It sounds like you're doing a wonderful job up there. Also, really cool to hang out and chat with you. It was a fun conversation.
Thank you.
All right, we have speed round, Julian. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds, 12 questions. Is that what I'm told?
Oh my gosh. We did 1 minute and 30.
All right, Nesquik. This is where you make your name, Nesquik.
Right.
Oh my God.
Let's see if your name precedes you.
Do not stop the car, Nesquik.
She's so quick you didn't understand that when it stopped, it actually made a whole lot.
Nesquik is going to make her name, or my name is not Nesquik.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ready?
Go.
Whitmayer says, my wife is a U.S. citizen. She's on probation now. Can she file a petition for me?
Yes.
Penny, can you apply for your citizenship and your 10-year green card at the same time?
No.
Sabrina says, does the new law that president with public benefits apply to previous case that was filed in 2018?
If it's an embassy case, yes.
Drew Barry asks, what do you do after asylum case is denied by judge?
Appeal it.
Mr. Iqbal saying, my husband I-130 petition receipt starts with IOE. What is IOE?
That's the place where your case is.
Yannon Collins asks, VAWA update, please.
It's in process. The same VAWA cases that were filed last year, you can file this year.
Frederico says, the administrative process, I was waiting almost 100 days, nothing happened. What do you suggest?
Wait 120 and call me.
AJ says, how do I go about filing for travel documents if I am still awaiting my work permit and interview date for green card?
Advance parole, I-131.
Rhymes Music 626 says, can I get a green card renewed with 2 DUIs having a 17-year presence in the USA?
Sounds like you can, but I'd like to see the disposition.
Suman asks, how long does it take for an I-145 processing time?
I-485 is 12 months to 36
Julian Green says, did my I-130 interview 9 months ago? A case is still in review. What do I do next?
Contact Uncle Brad.
Haya Danso says, can you get a green card if you're the victim of a drunk driving?
Yes, it's a U visa. And congratulations,
Nice and quick!
All right.
Nice and quick.
That's what I'm talking about.
Look, that actually was, I was a little nervous.
Did you guys get through it all without me yesterday?
We did.
All right,
we did,
whatever.
but we did 10 and 130, so this time we did 12 and 130.
We upped our game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, comments of the day. Comments of the day.
Alrighty, first thing first.
Comment
of the day comes from Nad Smiley saying, snowing in Baltimore, but thanks to the sunniest show on social media makes me warm.
I like that. That's awesome. All right, our second comment of the day is from Jeff Bozy talking about all the ladies on a Brad Show Live. At first I was like, what's this about to be about? But he said about the team nicknames, I noticed all of the ladies have food names.
Nesquik. Why? Belgian Kim did
so
not
we got
Belgian Kim was
Nesquik,
not right.
Pizza, Jelly Bean. Yeah,
Right.
Jenny Licious, J-Lish.
J-Lish. No, but she's J-Cube.
No, but like we also call her J-Lish. That was one of her names.
Right.
J-Lish.
Okay, maybe.
Good call out.
Okay, maybe.
Good call out. A lot of attention to detail.
They're yummy.
And our last comment of the day comes from Facebook. Elizabeth Francis says, this show has all the right remedies.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll get our technical difficulties tomorrow. We're going to get our camels all ready.
Woo!
And we're going to be back with Nesquik and the doctor himself, Yo-Yo. And, of course, the entire team. We'll see you all for Hump Day tomorrow. Thanks for watching. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein Law Firm, located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?